Did you know that one of the most beloved stars on American television quietly disappeared from our screens without much explanation? Someone we've come to know and love over the years, someone whose presence lit up every episode of American Pickers. Yeah. Danielle Colby. The heartbeat of the show. The one who gave it attitude, flair, and that unmistakable edge. If you've been watching the show and found yourself asking, "Where's Danielle? Why isn't she there anymore?" you're definitely not alone. Fans everywhere have been wondering the same thing. Her absence didn't just leave a gap in the shop, it left a gap in the hearts of viewers too. It's funny how much we feel connected to someone we've only ever seen through a screen, isn't it? Danielle was one of those rare people who just made you feel like you knew her. She was raw, real, unfiltered, and yet, somehow, comforting. She reminded you of that one cool friend who always had your back and never sugarcoated anything. But behind her sharp humor and infectious energy, there was something happening, something she didn't talk about right away. Something that even she didn't fully understand at first. So today, I want to tell you her story. Not just the parts you already know, but the story behind the story. The one that shows just how much she's been through, and just how strong she really is. Let's start at the beginning. Danielle joined American Pickers back when the show was just finding its footing. From day one, she wasn't just another cast member. She was family. She kept things running, keeping Mike and Frank on schedule, managing the calls, holding down the shop, and honestly, keeping the whole operation from falling apart. The guys may have been out on the road finding the treasures, but Danielle? She was the treasure. And week after week, we'd watch her handle everything with style and sass. She made it look effortless. But over time, something changed. At first, it was subtle. She missed a scene here, an episode there. Fans didn't think much of it at first. Everyone deserves a break sometimes, right? But then, more episodes went by. And her presence became less and less frequent. The chatter on social media started. People were asking, "Where's Danielle? Is she okay? Why isn't she on the show anymore?" For months, there were no answers. Just silence. And then, she finally spoke up. Danielle shared with her followers that she'd been struggling with a serious health issue. Something she called her mystery illness. And honestly, that's exactly what it felt like to her, too, mysterious. Frustrating. Even a little terrifying. She described feeling constantly exhausted. Overwhelmed. Like her body was no longer hers. There were days when she couldn't find the strength to even get out of bed. Days when the simplest tasks felt impossible. And it broke her heart to take a step back from the show she loved. But she had no choice. Her body was telling her something, and she couldn't ignore it anymore. If you've ever experienced something similar, you know exactly how she felt. That feeling of confusion when your body just stops cooperating. When doctors don't have all the answers yet. When the tests come back normal, but you know something isn't right. It's scary. It's lonely. And it's exhausting, not just physically, but emotionally too. That's the thing about invisible illnesses. People don't see what you're going through, so they don't always understand why you're struggling. Why you have to say no to things you used to love. Why you don't just push through it like everyone thinks you should. Danielle's always been known for being tough. But even the toughest people need to rest sometimes. And here's the part that really shows you who she is. Through all of this, she never lost her sense of humor. She even joked about how she was picking herself apart and restoring her health, just like the antiques she's so passionate about. Even in her hardest moments, she found ways to laugh. That's something I really admire about her. Because it's so easy to let yourself spiral when you're dealing with a chronic illness. It's so easy to lose hope. To feel like you're losing who you are. But Danielle never let that happen. Even on her worst days, she reminded herself, and all of us, that she's more than her illness. That she's still Danielle. Still fiery. Still strong. And the truth is, chronic illnesses are complicated. They're hard to diagnose. Sometimes, doctors don't even have a name for what you're going through. There are so many conditions out there, autoimmune diseases, rare syndromes, hormonal imbalances, that can take years to figure out. And all you can do in the meantime, is keep going. One step at a time. That's what Danielle's been doing. And little by little, she's been making progress. She's been sharing updates online, letting fans know that she's still fighting. That she's still here. Still part of the American Pickers family. Because even though she may not be on our screens as much anymore, she's still part of the heart and soul of the show. And that's something worth celebrating. Now, if you've ever been through something like this yourself, or if someone you love has, you know how hard it can be to keep smiling. You know how it feels to watch the world keep moving while you feel stuck in place. But Danielle shows us that it's possible to keep going. Even when it feels impossible. So here's what we can all learn from her journey. First, listen to your body. Don't ignore the signs just because you're afraid of what you might find out. Your health matters more than keeping up appearances. Second, be patient with yourself. Healing isn't always linear. Some days are better than others. Some weeks you feel like you're making progress, and then you hit a setback. That's okay. It doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you're human. And third, don't lose hope. Even on your darkest days, remember that you're more than your illness. You're still you. You're still capable of joy, of love, of laughter. Danielle reminds us of that every time she posts a smile. And here's a little tip that might help if you're going through something similar: keep a journal. Write down your symptoms. Your feelings. Even your little victories. Not only can it help doctors figure out what's going on faster, but it also helps you see just how far you've come. Because in the middle of it all, it's easy to forget your own strength. But you are strong. Stronger than you realize. That's something I wish more people understood. Just because you don't see someone's pain doesn't mean it's not real. Just because they smile doesn't mean they're not hurting. Danielle's story is proof of that. So the next time you watch an old episode of American Pickers and see her laughing behind the counter, remember what she's been through. Remember the battles you don't see. And let that inspire you to be a little kinder, to others, and to yourself. Before I go, I want to ask you something. Have you or someone you care about ever gone through a health scare like this? Something that didn't have clear answers. How did you get through it? What helped you keep going? I'd love for you to share your story in the comments. You never know who you might inspire just by being honest about your journey. And if you want to hear more stories like Danielle's, stories about strength, resilience, and the truth behind the scenes, make sure you check out the next video waiting for you here on the channel. And hey, if you found this video helpful, give it a like. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe and ring that little bell so you never miss an update. We're building a community here. A place where no one has to feel alone in their struggles. We're all rooting for Danielle Colby. And we're rooting for you too. Because no matter how hard the road gets, you're still you. You're still strong. And you've got this. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next one.